Why can't people stay in their lane? Elliot is a very, very smart strength coach, and he can absolutely help you get stronger without a doubt. But telling people if they go on 10-minute walks, they don't have to take medication, not a good idea. Alrighty, guys, gals, non-binary pals, have we got a video for you today? Oh man, it's a video. That's all I'm going to say about it. Before we get into it, if you would love to join this lovely stream right here, all these lovely people chatting away, I would love to have you. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday on Twitch at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If any of them are saying they're being held against their will, they're lying. They're here because they want to be here. Alrighty, so what we're going to be talking about today is we're actually going to be talking about an OG YouTuber. I don't know how many of you guys know who this is. I would actually venture to guess that a lot of you probably don't know who this is because of the amount of women I have in my audience. And this person is definitely a men's creator. But we're going to be talking about a video from, this is from Elliot Hulse, or Strength Camp. He has a few channels. He has been on YouTube and a YouTube content creator for years. Like, he was genuinely one of the first YouTubers I ever watched when I first started watching YouTube. Like, one of the first people. And he taught me a lot. Like, he really, really did teach me a lot about strength and about conditioning and about just moving your body. Like, he really did teach me a lot. But in the past few years, things have gotten a little weird. So the title of this video, as you can see, is Fat to Jacked in 90 Days, which is obviously clickbait because that ain't happening. But let's see what he has to say. This is a segment that he has done for many years called Yo Elliot, where someone asks him a question and he goes on to answer that question. It's in portrait mode. I don't know why, but it is. So let's go ahead and see what he has to say.
Yo, Elliot. Yo, so today I got a question from my bro, Brucker Cole. Goes on to say, yo, Elliot, how do I get back into healthy lifestyle with 8 years of being sedentary, overweight, and banged up my fingers? Went from poverty to upper middle class, so I had an imbalance with work and health. Well, the first thing I would say to you, bro, is congratulations on going from poverty to upper middle class. You're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna use the same exercise, the same attitude that you did to go from being broke to being upper middle class. You're gonna use it to go from being obese to in great shape, right? Like, here's the thing. When you have the keys for achievement, you could use those keys to open any door. You already did it to get yourself out of poverty. You're gonna use the same attitude, right? The same mindset, the same grind and go get 'em attitude that you did to rise up out of the gutter, and you're gonna do it to rise up out of your fatness, right?
So as far as like what he's saying here, I don't like necessarily disagree, right? When it comes to, you know, getting out of poverty and like just getting out of a bad situation, a lot of times how you get out of that is through just like determination and pushing through it, even if you don't want to, right? Like doing hard things, right? That is not like bad advice at all, right? I don't think the beginning of this is necessarily like bad or anything like that.
You're a fat boy, right? And we don't have to be nice about it. We don't have to be PC about it. When you're obese, you're a fat boy. And you don't need to be a fat boy anymore, just like you didn't need to be a broke boy anymore, right? You don't need those things anymore. So you're ready to give up the fat boy lifestyle, and you're gonna begin real simple. It's the simplest thing, man. It's almost so simple that you're gonna dismiss what I have to say. 90% of
So right here, again, the whole fat boy broke. That's the whole thing. I've talked about that many times, right? Like being like the shock value of being like, oh, you just stop, like whatever. We've gone over that. So like there's really not much to say there.
people are gonna dismiss what I have to say when it comes to how simple it is to go from the fat lifestyle to the jack lifestyle.
So, and again, what he starts saying here, and especially at the beginning of the video, I don't necessarily disagree. I have said this many times, like when I tell people how to lose weight or like what I did, so many, and I'm sure some of you guys can relate to this, right? People will ask you if you've lost a lot of weight, how did you do it? And you say, you know, diet and exercise. I started eating less, started moving a little bit more. People are like, yeah, but what did you really do? People like to overcomplicate this when it doesn't need to be complicated. Now, this is something that's very important. So weight loss, I've said this many times, is very simple, but just because something is very simple does not mean that it is easy, right? If we're just looking at the bare bones of how do you lose weight, be in a caloric deficit, that's it. But getting to that caloric deficit for it takes many different things for people to get there, but getting to that caloric deficit can be very difficult, right? That just because it is simple does not mean that it's easy, and people will love to overcomplicate things. And what I love is that he starts off kind of saying that, but then as the video goes on, it kind of changes a little bit. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry.
It begins with this. Walking. Walking. Walking is medicine, bro. Many times we try to make things more complicated than they are, but if you just get up and fucking move, that's all you need to do is.
So again, I remember when the person that sent me this video, when they said, watch this, like, this is crazy. I watched it and I was like, I don't disagree with this. Like, when I was at this point, I was like, yeah, he's a little over the top, and he's harsher than I would be, right? Calling someone a fat boy and all that stuff. But it's like, you know, there are some people that respond to that. And then the walking thing, I'm like, yeah, I think that's something I talk about all the time. I think walking is one of the most underutilized ways of fitness for so many people, right? So I was just like, I don't know why this person is so, like, what their problem is. We'll keep going.
Move, get up and walk 3 times a day. Think of it this way, right? This is gonna help you. This is gonna help you with your diet, and it's gonna help you with your exercise, all in just one thing right here through walking. 3 meals a day, right? Whatever you were eating before, ignore it, right? If you were eating, 9 times a day, 5 times a day, whatever it is, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? We could get more complicated than that, right? We could talk about intermittent fasting. We could talk about counting macros and calories. But for right now, my assumption is, as a fat boy, you're chewing all kinds of junk all day long. 3 meals a day.
So I'm not going to say I disagree, but that's not necessarily always the case. There are a lot of people that are eating less than 3 meals a day and they're struggling with their weight because they are pushing their calories back so far and they end up eating huge amounts of food. So this is a problem, like, I think overgeneralizing and just saying you're probably eating throughout the whole day, because then there are going to be people that are watching this video and they're thinking, well, I don't eat throughout the whole day. Like, I don't really snack. I only eat 1 meal a day, or I only eat twice in a day and I'm still overweight. And so it's like, again, it's just overgeneralizing, which I just don't think is helpful.
You get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, boom, here's how you do it all together. You eat that meal, and as soon as you finish that meal, you get up and you go walk 10 minutes. Set a timer, 10 minutes. As soon as you put your fork down, you go and that does a number of things.
So again, right there, I was just like, that's not bad advice. I think walking around after you eat isn't a terrible thing to do, right?
A number of things, including it supposedly has the same effect on insulin as metformin, which is a medicine that diabetics use.
Why? Metformin? That's not even how it's pronounced. Why do people do this? Why? You were giving good advice, and then you step over a line of something that's clear you don't really know much about. I just don't get it. Why do people do this? Why? Why is it so hard for people to stay in their lane? I do not understand this. I will never get it. Metformin?
Did you know that Did you ever hear that? I heard that. I read that recently. Science has shown that, right? Somebody with a lab coat told me that if you...
They told you about metformin? If they told you about metformin, don't listen to them.
Get up and walk 10 minutes after each workout has the same effect as metformin. Isn't that crazy? So you don't have to take medication. You could balance your blood.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that? You don't have to take medication. I'm sorry, but don't do that. Don't say that on... You don't have to take medication. Bro. What? You're not even pronouncing it right, and you're telling people not to take it? Why can't people stay in their lane? Elliot is a very, very smart strength coach, and he can absolutely help you get stronger without a doubt. But telling people if they go on 10-minute walks, they don't have to take medication, not a good idea.
Sugars just by getting up and walking after each meal. That alone, 3 meals a day and walking 3 times a day is going to revolutionize your life. You're going to drop weight so quick. But while you're here, I'm going to give you a bonus. Not just 1, not just 2, but a 3rd tip that's going to help you, my man. Drink nothing but water. Eliminate everything else. It doesn't matter if it's a health drink. It doesn't matter if it has vitamins in it. It doesn't matter if it comes from a grass-fed cow. Don't drink it. Don't drink anything but water. You should be drinking water all day long.
Okay, so remember, nothing but water. Nothing but water, okay? Drink nothing but water. Nothing that, you can't add anything to it. Okay? Now, what does he say next? Let's find out.
All day long drinking water. Drink lots and lots and lots of water, right? Caveat. When you drink that much water, you have to add minerals. You have to add electrolytes. Otherwise, you flush out all the minerals in your body, and that's...
So then don't only drink water. I can't make this up. I cannot make this up.
not a good thing. So I'm making it a little bit more complicated, but it's not that complicated. Just look up snake juice. You got to...
Don't do it. Don't look up snake juice, for the love of God, please. Don't do it. Just stay away, okay? Just stay away, please.
Add sodium, potassium, and magnesium to your water. I don't do the baking soda because it's so nasty. But those 3, sodium, potassium, magnesium, for every liter, you do a 1/4 teaspoon of sodium, right? Salt, pink salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of magnesium. Where do you get magnesium? Food grade Epsom salt. That's all it is.
Remember, the beginning of this video, at the beginning of this video, which isn't even 6 minutes long, he said, people overcomplicate it. We're going to keep it simple. And now he is going over teaspoons and tablespoons of sodium and magnesium. Like, ugh.
This is another salt. And then half a teaspoon of potassium. You can use something called no salt. They sell in the store. It's just potassium, pure potassium. You put that in your water. You drink that water all day long. You'll be super hydrated and you will be satiated. You won't be so hungry that you're eating in between all of your meals. It's really that simple, man. It's just a little bit of movement, a little bit of consistency with your meals, and then drinking that water, drinking that snake juice all day long. That's the way to get the ball rolling. That's the way to get the ball rolling. If you can do that, let me say this to you. If you could do that for 3 months, and don't think about anything else, right? Because you're building your business, you're doing your thing, you have a whole lot of stuff, other good things going on in your life. But if you stay consistent with that every day, 7 days a week, no cheat days, no cheat days. You deal with that 7 days a week for 3 months, you'll be so shocked at the changes in your body and in your mind that you're going to be ready for the next step. And you send me an email and I'll tell you what to do next.
So the thing that's frustrating with this is that that's all we're going to watch because it's pretty much over. The thing that's frustrating with what he said is that this might sound crazy, but what he just said there isn't wrong. If you do that for 3 months, you will lose an unbelievable amount of weight. Absolutely. Now, what's more important, though? That you lose that weight very quickly, or you find a way to lose weight and actually keep the weight off. Stuff like this is so frustrating because, again, it's like everything when it comes to fitness and health is there's always a grain of truth. There is a grain of truth because if you do this, 1,000% you will lose weight. 100% you will. Like, of course you will. If you're in a deficit, if you're doing all these things, of course you'll lose weight. But if you're not able to do that for an extended period of time, what's the point? You're going to hop off and gain the weight right back. It's unnecessary. And it's frustrating because at the beginning of the video, it seems like it's going to be good advice. It seems like it's going to be something that can actually help someone, but then it just turns into more crap. Like just more extra steps that are unnecessary. And please, for the love of God, don't listen to someone that gives you medical advice that cannot even pronounce the drugs. That's all I have to say.